recently went on a trip to the beach, and I drove this time, but I have flown with art supplies, and I wanted to do a short little video to just show you some of the things that I take when I go on a trip, because I still want to paint, and I still love to paint, and to not have some supplies with me when I get in the urge to paint and I'm not at another artist studio is to me just painful. So I wanted to show you some of the things. One of the things that I take are these blank panels. Now these you can get them really at any art supply store. And these are 6x6, they're canvas panels. And they're flat, so they're great. They're great for throwing in your suitcase. And the other thing that's great about them is on the back, I can add all my information about being an artist, my address, my website, sign it, the size, and if I want to title this piece of art. And these are so inexpensive that you can actually, if someone's showing a great interest in your art, that you met, say, on the airplane, or you're someplace traveling, and I carry these actually, several of these in my purse, and you strike up a conversation, they're so inexpensive. You can actually give one of these as a business card, because they're more than likely not going to throw this away when they may throw away another, like a paper business card. So I wanted to show you some of the things that I take with me to make a piece of art. Usually, since I went to the beach, I carried a water bottle that was bigger, but you can even get little smaller travel size water bottles to take. But I love taking water bottles with me. I take just a couple pieces of paper towel, but you can get these anywhere when you travel, so you don't have to stuff up your suitcase with these. But another thing that I love to take is, this is just a piece of cotton from an old sheet, and a lot of times I will take this to use to wipe my brushes off on and dry my stuff off, and it just lays flat, and it's great to wrap up your art with when you're done. I always travel with paintbrushes, and this is actually a stick. A stick is great. A lot of these pieces, like the design in here, is done with a stick, just that I have found. I did not even change or whittle this down. This is exactly as the stick came from my garden. While I was out at the beach, I actually found a piece of driftwood that I put the year that I found it, and it has a beautiful point on the end, and I used that to do a couple pieces. But when I initially went on the trip, I just throw a piece of stick, or you can find it when you're there. It's wonderful, and then somehow mark on your stick where you found it, or you can just remember. I always grab a handful of brushes with me. You can take, or just find in the hotel, there are cups that you can use as your water, or you can take a dog dish or animal dish that collapses. You can take a butter, one of those margarine or butter tubs that you can throw some of your paints in. I love this brush. It's a rigger brush. I love to do miscellaneous marks with this. It's just very loose. It takes the place of my really longer ones that I use in the studio. Then I always take some pencils, some graphite, I always take a woody. This is a black one. Graphite and charcoal and gel pens. This is a very large stick of graphite that I grabbed this time, and I always travel with a little pencil sharpener. The paints I take, you can get so many of these little travel, and I just get a little makeup container, and depending on how much room I want to take up, since I traveled by car, I had a little bit more room, but I just throw them all in a makeup container. And you can get, you know, white, all different colors, and they come in different. This is Dalarani watercolor. These are the Artesia, which I love. The little tubes. Then you can also grab the different golden, the high flow, and the regular that come in the small tubes. And I have a bunch of these because when I was in an outside studio, I would need paint there and in my home studio. So I had a lot of these and using them up. But these are great when you travel. Say you're going to, sometimes I would go to an art gallery where my art was, and I would sit for a period of time just to discuss my art or do my art, and I would bring these because it was great to do my art there. And then this past trip, I did the Dalarani FX acrylic paint, and these are great. They're acrylic inks. They're very fluid, very beautiful in your work. So I grabbed a couple of those, and I do have on order, but I ran out. But I always bring my white high flow golden. It's a staple for me, and this comes in a 1 ounce and different ounces. It's 16 fluid ounce, but I wanted to show you that I do take this. I just ran out of the white and I threw the bottle away, and I just ordered a new one. And then I always take a black, and in this case, it was the acrylic ink black that I took. In here was some of the white high flow also that I took because I know that I was very, very low in my bottle. So I just took one of those immune shots and filled it up with some of the acrylic ink. So that's kind of an overview of these, and these just, you know, when you paint them, you can just put them out at the beach. I just put them out on the balcony and let them dry. And I used the gel pen to sign and just fill out the back, and then I'll put my little stamp. But I mean, I could have walked, you know, there was a lot of people I met that know that I come every year to this beach, and you know, hand them a piece of the art. But it is so simple to create a piece of art while you're traveling with few things. And I encourage you to take stuff with you if you can, and give your artistic you know, the drive that you have, because I don't know any artist that doesn't get that drive when they're traveling to still paint. So I wanted to show you just some of the things you can take. Very simple. And this is sepia, and you can either squirt it on or use it to, and I'll show you the, I'm going to make a bigger mark because I want to show you using the stick I have, what beautiful marks it makes. So the stick just dips down in the well. Makes wonderful marks. Marks that you can't get with any other tool. I love bringing my branches. And if I were to keep a somewhat limited palette, I would be using, this is the Indian Yellow. Here's my rigger brush. I want to just make marks of that, pull the paint around. Love my white. So I'll let that dry, and then I'll go in with some thicker paints and add some more on the top. But you see how easy it is just to create a simple abstract painting with limited items that you bring with you. So this little 6x6 panel has already dried, and I helped it out with a blow dryer. But at this point, since I added a lot of the high flow and the liquids, I wanted to go in with more paint that's more of a solid paint to just add to this, to give it a little bit more, I don't know, character. If you find that you love what you've already done with just the original paints, you don't have to, but I wanted to play with this a little bit more. So I'm going to just put some music on for you and lightly in the background, or you can turn my music off and put yours on and just watch what I do to this panel to finish this one up.